black and white, swirling together, two teardrops locked in an eternal embrace. You've seen this symbol everywhere, on t-shirts, in tattoo parlors, on martial arts studio walls, in philosophy books, on jewelry, on phone cases. But do you actually know what it means? Today, we're exploring one of the most recognized and most misunderstood symbols in human history, the Yin Yang. The symbol has a proper name. It's called the Tai-Ji-Tu. And while most people in the West simply call it the Yin Yang symbol, in Chinese philosophy, it represents something far deeper than most realize. Two shapes, one black, one white, curving around each other like fish swimming in opposite directions. Each one contains a small circle of the opposite color, a dot of darkness in the light, a dot of light in the darkness. This is not a random design. Every element has meaning. The symbol is ancient, far older than most people imagine. The earliest versions appeared in China during the Zhou dynasty, more than 3,000 years ago. But the philosophy behind it, the concept of yin and yang, predates even that. It's woven into the I Ching, the Book of Changes, one of the oldest Chinese classical texts. The I Ching describes a universe in constant flux. Everything transforms, nothing remains static. And at the heart of all change are two fundamental forces, yin and yang. But here's what most people get wrong. Yin and yang are not enemies. They're not fighting. They're not good versus evil, light versus darkness, in the way Western thought often frames such things. They are complementary opposites, two halves of a whole. Neither can exist without the other. Yin is the dark, the feminine, the passive, the receptive. It represents the moon, the earth, water, coldness, stillness, rest. It is the valley, the shadow, the night. Yang is the light, the masculine, the active, the creative. It represents the sun, the heavens, fire, heat, movement, action. It is the mountain, the brightness, the day. But listen carefully. Yin is not weak. Yang is not strong. These are not judgments. They are qualities, states of being. In Taoist philosophy, nothing in the universe is purely yin or purely yang. Everything contains both. And this is why each teardrop in the symbol contains a dot of the opposite color. The darkest night contains the seed of dawn. The brightest day contains the seed of dusk. Strength contains the seed of weakness. Softness contains the seed of power. Life contains death. Death enables life. This is not poetic metaphor. This is observation of reality. Winter is the most yin season, cold, dark, still. But within winter, the days begin to lengthen, yang begins to grow, and eventually, winter transforms into spring, then summer, the most yang season, hot, bright, active. But within summer, the days begin to shorten, yin begins to grow, and summer transforms into autumn, then back to winter. The cycle never stops. Neither force ever dominates permanently. A person inhales. That's yang, taking in, filling. Then they exhale. That's yin, releasing, emptying. You cannot only inhale, you cannot only exhale. Life requires both, in constant alternation. A wave rises, yang. It crashes, yin. The ocean cannot be only rising waves or only falling water. It is both, forever. This is the genius of the symbol. It shows transformation. The curved line dividing black and white is not a wall. It's a boundary in motion. The two sides flow into each other. What was yin becomes yang. What was yang becomes yin. And those dots? Those small circles of opposite color embedded in each half, they represent potential, the seed of change that exists within everything. When something reaches its peak, its extreme, it contains the beginning of its opposite. The coldest point of night is just before dawn. The hottest point of summer marks the start of the slow descent toward winter. To ancient Chinese philosophers, this wasn't mysticism. This was physics. This was biology. This was how the universe actually works. And the goal of a wise person, according to Taoism, was not to choose a side, not to try to be all yang or all yin, not to favor light over dark or action over rest. The goal was balance, harmony, to understand that both forces are necessary, that trying to eliminate one is trying to eliminate half of existence. The symbol's influence spread beyond philosophy. It became foundational to Chinese medicine, martial arts, art, architecture, and daily life. In traditional Chinese medicine, health is understood as a balance between yin and yang. Organs are classified by their qualities. The heart and liver are yang organs, full of activity and heat. The kidneys and lungs are yin organs, cooler and more receptive. Illness happens when the balance tips too far in one direction. Too much yang creates fever, inflammation, hyperactivity. Too much yin creates coldness, stagnation, lethargy. Treatment isn't about destroying the problem, it's about restoring balance. If you're too yang, you don't eliminate yang, you strengthen yin. If you're too yin, you strengthen yang. Foods are categorized the same way. Ginger, garlic, and chili peppers are yang foods, heating and stimulating. Cucumber, watermelon, and tofu are yin foods, cooling and calming. You don't eat only yang foods or only yin foods. You balance them according to your needs, the season, your current state. This is a completely different way of thinking about health than the Western model. It's not about killing germs or removing symptoms. It's about understanding the body as a dynamic system that needs equilibrium. Martial arts embody the same principle. Bruce Lee, who studied Wing Chun and created his own philosophy called Jeet Kune Do, spoke often about yin and yang. A fighter cannot be only hard or only soft, only aggressive or only defensive. The most effective technique flows between the two. Hard blocks, soft redirects, aggressive strikes, defensive retreats, tension and relaxation, force and yielding. When your opponent pushes, you pull. When they pull, you push. You don't meet force with force. You complement it, redirect it, transform it. This is why the symbol appears in so many martial arts schools. It's not decoration, it's the core philosophy. But when the symbol traveled to the West, something was lost in translation. Many people began interpreting yin and yang as good versus evil, light versus dark in a moral sense, God versus the devil. This completely misses the point. Yin and yang are not moral categories. They're not about right and wrong. They're about different qualities that both have value. Both are necessary. Darkness is not evil. It's rest, receptivity, the quiet from which new things emerge. Light is not automatically good. Too much light blinds. Too much action exhausts. The symbol has been simplified, commodified, turned into a trendy image without its depth. People wear it without understanding what it represents, but the meaning is still there, waiting to be rediscovered. And here's what's remarkable. The concept of Yin and Yang, this 3,000-year-old Chinese philosophy, maps onto modern understanding in surprising ways. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, developed the concept of the shadow self, the parts of our personality we reject, deny, or hide. He argued that psychological health requires integrating the shadow, not eliminating it, accepting both the light and dark aspects of who we are. This is Yin and Yang. Physicists discovered that light behaves as both a wave and a particle, two seemingly contradictory properties that are both true, complementary descriptions of the same phenomenon. This is Yin and Yang. Designers understand that negative space is as important as positive space. The empty areas in a composition give meaning to the filled areas. You can't have one without the other. This is Yin and Yang. Work-life balance. The understanding that productivity requires rest, that constant action leads to burnout, that you need periods of Yang and periods of Yin. This is Yin and Yang. The symbol has survived for 3,000 years because it describes something true about existence, something every human being experiences, even if they don't have the words for it. Life is not static. It's not one thing. It's constant transformation between complementary states, day and night, wakefulness and sleep, effort and rest, giving and receiving, speaking and listening. You cannot have only one, and trying to eliminate one half creates imbalance, suffering, dysfunction. The yin-yang symbol doesn't teach division. It doesn't teach that we must choose between opposites. It teaches that opposites define each other, that they arise together, that they transform into each other, that they are two expressions of one underlying unity. The symbol is a circle, whole, complete, containing both forces in perfect balance, forever in motion, forever connected. Two teardrops, black and white, each containing a seed of the other, eternally embracing, eternally transforming. Neither can exist alone, neither should dominate. Both are necessary. Both are valuable. This is the lesson that has survived 3,000 years, not because it's mystical or exotic, but because it's true. The yin-yang symbol is a mirror. It shows us something we already know deep down, something we experience every day. That life is not about choosing between opposites. It's about understanding how they dance together, how they need each other, how they create wholeness. The symbol doesn't choose for you. It reminds you that balance is possible, that transformation is constant, that everything contains its opposite. Two forces, one symbol, an endless truth.